It's a God. Hip hop is real. The #1 media outlet in the world for battle rap and hip hop is here talking with the #1 battle rap league in the world. You already know what it is, man. We got Beasley.
Thank you.
Beasley, appreciate you, spending some time with us, man, and allowing us to kind of like, get into the mindset of some of the business you guys have been doing throughout y'all illustrious career, man. First topic I want to talk about is the URL app pay-per-view and the business of evolution. So the first question is, since the launch of the URL app, what have been the biggest success and biggest challenges of transitioning battle rap into a subscription platform?
Well, man, that's a lot. You know what I mean? But to be honest, man, it's been a tough. It's been a tough transition, but a good transition. And, it's easy when you're just looking for subscriptions on a platform when it's free. Somebody can go to YouTube and hit subscribe. But anybody that has a YouTube channel understands the challenges of just making somebody subscribe to something for free. So to actually get people to convert from something that's free to something that's behind a paywall, and it's hard to make them just subscribe to something that's free, you can imagine how tough and challenging that can be. But I think it's something that's positive, and it's something that's needed within our industry, and I'm glad that we were able to be the first ones to do it, and I hope others follow suit.
I guess what has been the biggest success?
The biggest success is being able to retain an audience of loyal subscribers who believe in us and follow us and trust us. I think that's the best part. I mean, if you look up like apps that have started and ended within the last 5 years, there's been some that have had way more underwriting and support than we have. You have CNN, you have Quibi. These are like huge apps with major sponsors behind them, with major stars. Like Quibi, for instance, had like Robert De Niro, Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, Scorsese, and they weren't able to sustain and survive. And we've been doing a URL app now for nearly 6-7 years about, and we're still here and we're still working. So it's a testament to the loyalty and the strength behind battle rap and the people that support us. So that's my biggest thing, or my biggest takeaway is that, even if it ended all tomorrow, we were able to survive longer than a lot of other companies that had major support. And we're fully independent.
Any other success that you guys have, had just doing the app?
I would say like just it providing opportunity for a lot of people. If you count the amount of battles that we've shot since the app's inception, there's too many to name. If you count the amount of events that we've been able to do because we've been able to utilize funding from the app to to help us out. Like one of our biggest events was Summer Impact, and that wouldn't have been possible without the support from the followers and the culture through the URL TV app. So that's definitely a success and something we were able to do.
Now, what have been the biggest challenges?
Man, the biggest challenges are the critics. The biggest challenges are keeping the level of quality in terms of the matches, and going out and constantly thinking of matches because it's non-stop. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't just go blank for 4 or 5 months. You have to constantly be creating content, and that's one of the reasons why we built URL Studios, so we have somewhere to bring talent where we can get the highest level of quality, sound, and content possible, and bring it directly to the people who are supportive of the app. So shout out to the app gang and everybody that's been supportive of what we've been doing and shares in our vision.
I'm gonna state a challenge, right? Like I feel like that I've heard just from your consumers.
Right.
People feel like the app made it harder for you guys to create stars. I don't know if that's something you would consider a challenge, or what's your thoughts on that sentiment?
I understand it, right? Because people will say, well, hey, you have 1 million plus subs on YouTube, so why not put the new guys on those outlets? But if you really take a look at how YouTube is moving and what the algorithm is on YouTube, it's not necessarily there, right? Because if you like if you say, okay, well, there's a bunch of guys who are new that are not on URL, but they're all over YouTube for every single match that they've done. None of them are emerging as stars, right?
Right.
And then if we take the same people and we put them on the app, they've emerged as stars. They get followed, whether they're criticized, whether they're liked or disliked. You know who they are,
Facts.
Right?
That's true.
So I just believe that's a fallacy, and I think sometimes people. I understand why people would think that,
right,
but it's not necessarily the case, you know. And I think like we've been fortunate in being able to develop stars. The majority of the stars in the culture do emerge from our platform. Of course, there are smaller platforms where we find stars at. You know what I mean? So shout out to them, because without them, it wouldn't be possible.
Dope.
I would say like those platforms are definitely needed, but I think that URL takes them to the next level.
100%.
And I think that anyone that you would consider to be a competing league or another major league, they have the opportunity to do the same things, and they don't. So we're always the ones who are moving forward and taking the chances with new talent. And whether people like the talent or dislike the talent, you know, we're always the ones who are going to go out and give people a chance or an opportunity. And sometimes it works in a real way, and other times you don't hear from the guys anymore. But we're not always going to land with every single artist that we put in front of the cameras. They're not always going to translate, and that's with anything. That's like in basketball, sports, entertainment, music. Not every person that's signed to a record deal is going to be successful. So, you know, you have to give it time. But I will say that generally out of every class that we've picked over the last few years, somebody emerges on some level. Some guys make it to the top, you know what I mean? And some guys make it to a mid-level of success, and then there's other variables that enable them to proceed forward. Sometimes it's the way that they manage their career, the frequency at which they battle, where they're battling, what their display is, what their personality is. You know, there's so many things that go into making somebody a star that it's not just about them coming to URL and us putting them out there. You know, you get guys that say, oh, URL gave him the push. The push comes through demand and through feedback that we take. So we know what the data is, we know what the battles do, we know how they perform. We pay attention to things like social media, their activity, their interaction with fans, and interaction with other stars. Can they sell a fight? You know, all those things add up into somebody becoming a star. So it's not just the people that we choose and then we just put them out and they become stars. They will get notoriety and more visibility than they ever have, but it's also their responsibility to ensure that they go to the next level by kind of listening to us and letting us mentor their careers.
Fire. How has the URL app changed the economics of battle rap compared to the old YouTube era?
I think that it's done very well. You know, people don't realize how many battles we create. You know, if you add the battles that we've shot for the app, if you add up the battles that we've done when we had when we were doing stuff with Caffeine and just in general, independently on our own, we've done more battles probably, and I say this humbly, than like all the leagues combined together. You know what I'm saying? So the amount of people that we've been able to provide opportunity for and feed is just immeasurable. And I think like people know that they can count on us, that we're going to be doing something every single month. So sometimes people may miss certain things that they don't see, but I think we're in a time where you program what you want to be tuned into, you know? So if you want to find URL, you know, we are living on the app. We do promote outside the app, and we do some YouTube drops from time to time.
Right.
But for the most part, we're establishing our own platform and building something that we can control, you know? I think a lot of times people have to realize and understand that when you're building a business and you're trying to scale a business, you have to actually have something that you're selling or something that's actually scalable, right? Okay. Because with battle rap, essentially, people are seeing talent, finding the talent, booking it, and then they're like, oh, we have this lead. But then at the end of the day, what is actually scalable? If there was an investor or somebody who was stepping into the culture to find a way to build it up, what do you actually own?
Okay.
You know, there's footage, yeah, that's cool, but what is it that you can sell or scale up with? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we actually have a platform with a subscriber base that, you know, when somebody comes in and they say, hey, I want to take this thing to the next level, we actually have a foundation, and we have a studio, we have a graphics team, and we have a machine that actually works, and that's been proven to work for over a decade, over 15 years. So, you know, it's a lot there, you know what I mean? But I think that, you know, in terms of answering your question,
Yeah, the economics.
You know, it's just in terms of economics, it's just the amount of opportunity that we've been able to provide consistently every month. I mean, we can't take everybody with us every single month.
Right.
There's only so much battles that you can shoot and things that actually make sense. But for the most part, in terms of consistency and providing opportunity, we're second to none.
With the return of like more pay-per-view events, you know, everybody throwing pay-per-views. People are expecting for you guys to throw some more pay-per-view events. How do you balance the app model versus the live pay-per-view to maximize both fan access and revenue?
Right. I mean, I think what people have to understand, and like there's not a battle rap issue. Like, I love battle rap. I love what's going on. I think what people are lost at is this is a monetization. This is a revenue stream issue. It's not about like a pay-per-view. So I'll go deeper and explain.
Okay.
Like the biggest platforms that utilized pay-per-view in history, since it started to emerge, like I would say in the 90s, pay-per-view started to emerge late 90s, were WWE, boxing, and UFC. They did the most pay-per-view out of everyone. Basketball was never pay-per-view.
Right.
Football was never pay-per-view.
Right.
Soccer was never pay-per-view. Those three entities were the biggest proponents of pay-per-view. You know how many of them still utilize it?
How many?
None of them. UFC has sold their rights to Paramount Plus. Okay. WWE deals with Netflix, sometimes Peacock, and boxing is mostly with Netflix.
Even DAZN.
Or DAZN, right? So even with like guys like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and celebrity boxing and things like that, they don't even do it, right? Now you would figure with somebody with that much traction and data based on their performance, that they would just say, hey, we could sell this independently and own it out 100% after fees and taxes and things like that. They're not even doing it.
Right.
And a lot of that is due in turn to the emergence of platforms like Discord and StreamYard and all these different things, where there's so many little hubs of people who can just snatch a stream and throw it up.
Reddit and all of that good stuff.
So then like the consumer's like, I love this sport or I love this culture, but if I know it's going to be free, why am I buying it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'll throw a fight party and use the $65 to buy some wings. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of saw this trend happening, and that was one of the reasons why we were able to get out and be fortunate enough to go get a deal with Caffeine, to find someone to underwrite it who needed to utilize the eyeballs to build something.
Right.
So we had a successful run and dump for a couple of years, and now, you know, it's the next transition of what we're doing, of moving forward. So I'm glad that we always maintained and kept our own platform, because now we don't have to worry about sacrificing the integrity of the culture, because, you know, as you know, on YouTube now, you know, they pay the lowest amount of ads if you curse. So the only way not to get the lower ads would be to tell the talent, hey,
you can't curse. Is
you
crazy.
can't curse. Or you can't talk
don't even make sense.
this type of language or whatever.
Censoring the artists.
Right. So it sacrifices the integrity of the sport and the art form. And we don't want to do anything like that. Right. And, you know, I had this conversation before, like, whenever there's business affects art, and art affects business. You know what I mean? So if I did that, if I said, hey, for the sake of business, please don't curse, guys. Don't talk about these types of things. This is going to affect our CPM rate, and we're going to get the lowest ads possible. Then now, you know, the consumer's like, yo, what is he talking
This shit
about?
corny,
Why is he
B.
not saying what I need him to say? Why is he not talking about the scandal? Why is he not saying these things? Because I'm telling him not to do it for the sake of business, which is ultimately hurting the art form, right? So everybody keeps with the same content that they've been doing, but they're getting the lowest quality ads, right? And now that's why you don't see a lot of the platforms doing as many battle events, because it's not that people are not excited about battle rap. It's just, it's hard for people to monetize it because our biggest revenue stream was pay-per-view, which is no longer, you know, doesn't really exist anymore. And like, even if you look at the companies that I mentioned, the aforementioned platforms, like boxing, UFC, and WWE, if I was to ask you, if you would compare them to URL in terms of viewership and just overall worth, it's 50x what we are, right?
Multi-million, billion-dollar,
we're not even close, right?
Okay.
So I think, you know, and I love battle rap, and I love the culture, and I love how people think, and I'm glad that, you know, maybe they view us in that light. But if you think about it, those companies are like 100x times what we can do, right? So if WWE has to go to Netflix and they don't put or stream their own events for a pay-per-view service, and boxing doesn't, Canelo, and you know, these dudes is just the boxers alone are making $40-50 million in one night, right? And they're not doing it.
Mayweather made $100 million in one fight.
When we know what UFC is about, we see the stadiums, everything that comes along with being a part. If they're going to Paramount Plus and all these places, I just need people to understand. and maybe it's our fault because maybe we never had these types of detailed conversations, right? Because I try to separate business and just give the consumer the art the best way that we can. And sometimes not coming in front of the cameras and explaining what's going on doesn't give people a clear understanding of exactly what's happening. But I just think, like, as I'm learning, like, these kind of conversations have to be had more so that people can get a better understanding of where we stand and you know, what's going on and why we do certain things. So if those big companies are going to other platforms to allow themselves to be able to put these live events on, of course we would have to, right? However, battle rap is niche, so maybe those companies don't think that we garnered enough viewership, you know what I mean, to be on those platforms. I think we do. I think we will. We've shown up. You know, we've collabed with like Rhythm and Flow. You know, Smack's been on there as as a host for 2 seasons. They have a battle segment, so we're always knocking down those doors, going to the BET Awards, you know, getting guys up on Flex, Sirius Radio, other platforms, and doing things to expand the eyeballs and the viewership. But I just want people to understand we're not trying to punish people. And people will say, well, why don't you just stream it live on the URL TV app, which we could do. But then even when we do that, you have these parasites who come in and steal the streams and put them out there. So I understand, like, even people who love the culture,
that's tough.
They're watching the bootlegs. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And it's like, oh, and then they'll make excuses. Well, whoa, last week, one guy's, you know, bootleg crashed and he choked, and I don't know if I want to buy it, and this and that, and that's fine. You don't have to buy it. You know what I'm saying? But you need to understand why these things are happening. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I could talk about this stuff forever, so I don't know what else you want to discuss.
I wanted to just make a quick statement, right? We, you know, appreciate you. The last event you allowed us to stream. My guy Rome, you know, he was running the stream, and he ended up having an in-depth conversation with the fans, and he basically was like, you know, he was comparing, you know, the fan base of, you know, like saying sometimes we don't support each other, because he was like saying, iBattle has an app for $24.99. He said, I've never, not one time, heard y'all complain one time about iBattle. He said, you know, I don't know if it's because it's more, they got more white fans that, you know, tap in and things like that, but he's never heard them complain ever. And you guys are giving, you know, the best events and things like that for $8.99, $7.99 at one point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you guys get the most criticism. How do you feel about just that statement? Because you said it was like a real, like it was like a real realization. Like, yo, come on, guys.
I'm glad that somebody else can experience it and tell the story, because I don't like to come out and be a crybaby, and I don't want to make things negative. Right. But things are what they are, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes, you know, battle rap is comprised of fans from all ethnicities and backgrounds from around the world, but you know, if we're being real, you know what I'm saying, the URL fan base is the majority black people.
Right.
And I think sometimes people expect the world. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we always have a joke like battle rap has like caviar taste but peanut butter and jelly pockets. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think like people have to kind of break out of that mindset, because they don't have any problems supporting the apps that emerge from the corporate world, like Hulu and Netflix and Paramount and Peacock. And they'll pay for all these other subscriptions. They'll claim to love battle rap, but will be mad about paying $7.99.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which I think is kind of insane, especially considering what you get with it. Like at $7.99, you get the whole event. Then you have a catalog of hundreds of battles, of unreleased battles with Geechee Gotti, Chess, and you know,
the top of the top,
anybody
best
else,
of the best.
anybody that you can name off, A-War, this one, that one, Miss Hustle, you know, Jazz, all these different people that of content that lives on the app that people have direct access to. It's impossible. Even if you signed up and you said, I just want to see the volume series, and you said, I'm gonna go ahead and try to max out on the app, you won't get through it.
Right.
You will not be able to watch all those battles. And I pride ourselves on the quality that we've been able to produce.
Facts.
I mean, you've been out to the last couple of events, knowledge.
Looks amazing.
And, you know, even before volume, if you go back to Outside 6, Outside 5, Nexus, all these things, a lot of people are speaking on stuff that they haven't seen. But the quality that we've been able to deliver in terms of sound, lighting, and just content,
the battles itself
has been crazy. Like the feedback that we're getting is dope. So, you know, I'm willing to be the first to stand in this zone. You know what I'm saying? As we always do. Whether it's finding new talent, you come through, like they say, when you go over the mountains, you're going to take the arrows first. We're always willing to take those arrows. We're always willing to be first, to try out the new talent, to experiment, to have people laugh and shun us and do all those different things.
Right.
And then when you continue to work through it, it ends up being something that people like and appreciate. So, you know, I know it'll take time, you know what I mean? And we're not in any rush, you know what I'm saying? We're about consistency and holding on, you know what I'm saying, to everything that we do.
Last question on this topic. Looking back now, would you say the URL app ultimately strengthened or complicated the culture? And what adjustments have you had to make along the way?
I think it strengthened the culture in terms of providing opportunity for MCs that they know they can count on, where they can get paid every month. I think that part of it is dope. I think it also strengthened it from the position of corporate companies from the outside looking in, looking to see if there's a leader here or someone who actually understands business and can lay a foundation. You know what I mean? Like, battle rap's stats, if anyone was to ever get a show or anything, they're gonna be living off of our stats.
Right.
That we show them the URL channel, the channel with over 1 million subs on YouTube, with over 1 million subs on Facebook, with the most battles being shot, a company who's actually constructed a live streaming service that works, right? With a paywall that's been in existence for over 6-7 years with a loyal fan base. These are things that are tangible that people can see. You understand?
Right.
So this is what actually makes it corporate, where people are doing taxes and W-9s and 1099s, but there's a real infrastructure built, you know?
Right.
We're the people, the leading force who put these things in play. So, you know, when people want to go get apartments and they need pay stubs and ways to prove that they're actually working and getting paid, we've created that. You know what I mean?
That created a system for it.
Right, we've created a system for it, and it's just better off for everybody. Guys are paying taxes, and you know, these are all real things that are happening. And I think that you know, doing that is just gotten a chance to really show that there is some business beyond just booking talent, trying to throw things at the wall with a pay-per-view stream in hopes that it does well, and then it's over, and then we're all scrambling around looking for the next thing. You know what I mean? But where's the business? You know what I mean? Like, you can come in, you can see a building that's been built through battle rap.
The structure.
Right.
Real structure.
Like a real building, a real camera team, a real setup. You know what I mean? So I think that it helps in that instance, and then hopefully others will follow suit and build apps, or try to find ways to have something that's actually scalable so that the business of battle rap can continue to grow.
Definitely. Any adjustments just in that with like that you guys have made just to kind of, I guess, make it better or make it easier for yourselves and for the fans?
Yeah, I mean, we listen. You know what I mean? I think there's been a lot of changes, right? Because, like I said, business always affects art, or art always affects business. And, with the major monetization stream being taken away, which is pay-per-view, through, bootlegging and, just the emergence of these other platforms that steal streams. It doesn't matter what stream it is. It could be boxing, they're gonna steal it. You're gonna get it to your phone immediately.
Right.
I just feel that with I lost my train of thought. I'm so deep in thought in this.
As far as adjustments and things.
Yeah, just as far as adjustments, I've been concerned. Like, we're making the right adjustments for long-term success.
Okay.
Right. So for us, it's not just a race out. I mean, we did that before for a decade, chase behind the biggest matchups that we could possibly get, and we still do big matchups.
Y'all paid the biggest purses of all time.
Paid the biggest purses in history. Paid the most money to talent in history.
Right, real shit.
Put the most money into the culture, period.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, if you really think about it, like, we have put millions of dollars into battle rap. Millions, plural, millions. And that goes into guys' purses, that goes into production, travel, marketing, is there, and it's on paper, and it's legal, and it's legit.
Right.
And
respect.
I think these are things that people can always look at. So it has helped, and we've shown that battle rap is a viable business. You know what I mean? I think, just through construction of the app, and just through our infrastructure in general, and just the way that we handle things, and just, in terms of, having guys sign paperwork and, actually pay taxes and things like that. I think all of those things aid in making us a legitimate and sound business.
All right. Next topic. This one's called Mending Relationships in Battle Rap.
Here we go. Here we go.
Over the years, URL has had public fallouts with artists, but recently we've seen relationships repaired with battlers like Mike P and Ill Will. What does it take behind the scenes to mend those relationships?
Man, I think time heals wounds. I think, it all depends on what's happening at the time. As long as nobody's family gets hurt, I can, even when I feel, and most of the time, I feel like I'm right. I'm be honest with you. From the human side of things, I feel like we're right?
Right.
But, for the sake of business, anything can be worked out, But I think what hurts us sometimes is, like, a lot of times guys say things in the public, right? And then they're wrong. But they never want to say they're wrong publicly, so they apologize behind the scenes. And then it appears that, I guess URL had to run back and they needed them and this and that. And I'm not, and listen, I don't want to, I'm just speaking in general. I'm not saying that that's what happened with Mike P or Ill Will.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there are times where we have differences, where maybe they assumed something and we had to talk about it. So sometimes that can be an issue as well, where maybe nobody was at fault, but it was just assumptions and we're both being stubborn. So then, they said, well, I'm going to take my talent someplace else.
Right.
And then I'll be like, all right, well, you go ahead. I'll get somebody else.
Right.
Until we, come to realize, it's really not that deep. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes emotions run high and different things happen. So it can be tough sometimes. You know what I mean? But, I think most things are mendable. You know what I mean? As long as there's some level of respect, even though we've tolerated a lot of disrespect, even though a lot of things have been said that people never apologize for.
Or borderline, or cross the line. Or,
yeah, people cross the line, people say things, but you know, I have tough skin. And I say not to say that, I say that because like, Smack is Smack. Smack's an icon. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck these niggas, son. I'm good on these niggas.
Smack can say whatever he wants. And people, and rightly so, right? Because he deserves the credit. Because even before, you know, I linked with Smack and we started to work, Smack was Smack already.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So
right.
I didn't make Smack. Smack was who he was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then when we got together and started working on Smack DVD, you know, I had some connections and things that helped take it to the next level, but he was already on his way.
Right.
Like, I knew who Smack was before he ever knew who I was.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. And you know, but Smack is Smack. Yeah, Smack's an artist, basically. You know what I'm saying? He's an artist. I mean, he's a business mind.
Yeah, of course.
And you know, he does a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't know about.
Right.
But ultimately, he's who he is.
Right.
Chico's invisible. He's a ninja.
That's a fact.
We don't know where he's at. He's at events and you don't know he's there.
You might see him and then never see him again.
Right. You might see him for 5 seconds. Knowledge, what's up? You turn around, he's gone.
Gone.
Main event is on stage. You don't even see him.
Right.
So, like, I'm more so the face in terms of like dealing directly with talent on a day-to-day basis.
You get the shots.
I get
you get the hits.
But everything. Everything's my fault. Whether it happens on URL, whether it happens on another league, if somebody crashes their car in Nebraska, you know what I'm saying, somebody's flight is delayed.
Beasley's fault.
It's Beasley's fault. It's Beasley's fault. It's Beasley's fault. So I've learned to have a certain level of patience. You know what I'm saying? No offense, but I deal with a lot of women in my life in terms of like my daughter and women that I work with. Katie's always on my neck. Nels and them telling me what to do. You should have said this and this. So I have an extreme level of patience and people that know me and a high level of emotional regulation in terms of like controlling myself. So like 100%. Even when people come out and they make accusations or they say things, I don't always rush to defend them. And I think that was like a major mistake that I made because we're in a time, I come from a time period where you take the high road. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look up to other people like Jay-Z and, you know, other guys like that where, you know, they kind of take the high road. They don't really engage. And I think that works for a certain time period. But I think in the era that we live in now, it's like if you're not responsive in 24 hours, that shit is true. That's a fact. And it took me a long time to realize that. Right. You know, so now I realize like I gotta come out, I gotta say more. And some people are just never gonna believe
100%.
It doesn't matter what you say.
That's true, very true.
You know, like even when I say things that make sense, they won't refute what I say. They'll just say, yo, he's media trained. He knows how to talk. He's spinning you. But they don't have any real evidence to it. You know what I'm saying? I could bring up documents, I could show text messages, I could do all those things, and they'll still say it's fake and made up. And that's fine. But I realize that you have to come forward and you have to say things, because if you don't say it, it just becomes the truth. And I think a lot of times we were being attacked, people were attacking the app, or people were attacking me personally, I didn't say anything. And because most of the time when I do interviews, you know, people might say I'm robotic, or you know what I'm saying, I don't, you know, I may like be cursing and going crazy and stuff. So they think like, oh, you know what I'm saying, he's lying, or that's fake, or whatever, or he's not. I'm just choosing not to say anything. Sometimes behind the scenes, I keep it real with y'all. I'm like, this, are you crazy? Didn't you just, wasn't you just up? You know, like, and I hear everything. People send stuff to my phone. They look to get me hyped. Yo, Beasley, what you think about this? And they DM me and they see the clip. And you know, sometimes I used to get upset because, you know, I'll hear guys online and they'll be talking about me like they don't know me. Like I don't know your father or your mother. You know what I'm saying? Or you didn't call me.
Or you ain't been in my house.
Right, you ain't been in my house, or I've been to your house, or I don't know your kids, or you don't know mine. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
And for creating a mood or a feel on a podcast or spaces, they'll be like, yeah, because them niggas. You know, that's the famous one, them niggas. But it wasn't them niggas when when you called for something and you needed something. We wasn't them niggas then. You know what I'm saying? And this is not everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't want to paint a negative thing over battle rap. This will happen in any sport.
Part of the game.
It's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? So I try not to take it personally, but I am human, and sometimes I do, you know, behind the scenes I get upset, but I don't ever let it like make me lose my cool. I never want to act outside of myself. I never want my representation as a man to be somebody who's not in control of himself. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a daughter, she looks up to me, and I want her to always see her father conducting himself like a man. So I do it for myself, and I do it, you know, for how I'm going to be viewed, because, you know, shit, all these recordings and these interviews that we're doing,
they're going to live forever.
They live forever. People don't realize that.
We're going to be old, and they're going to be bringing this interview up right here.
There may be a time or two where I jumped out of character
of course.
over the years. And,
we got those too.
We human. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So,
it ain't that
you know,
deep.
to answer your question, man, like, yeah, pretty much everything everything can be mendable to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? I just think there has to be a line of respect there. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes if things aren't too bad, or people just know we're not rocking, and we kind of like keep it to themselves, and I don't see, you know, 20,000, you know, blogs dragging me, destroying me. You know what I'm saying? I'll let it slide. Sometimes guys do it in a slick way where they'll say, yeah, because them niggas did this and this and this and this and this and this. But you know, that's my man though. But so and so and so and so. Which is a way of trying to soften the blow. But at the end of the day, it's still, it's whack, man. It's disrespectful. And I'm not saying that there's not instances where we're wrong, but I'm going to look you in this camera and I'm going to tell you the majority of the time we're right. And if we weren't right and we were doing things that were so wrong, nobody would battle here. Nobody would need to come back. There's so much opportunity at this point within the culture for people to go or people to rap. They don't necessarily need us to survive, or from the standpoint of getting money. Now, in terms of keeping your profile at a certain level, I do think there's a certain level of intrinsic value in battling on URL. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're on a losing streak and you're kind of going down, and the smaller leagues out there are not booking you, if you come back to URL, it does give you a boost. You come back to 2 or 3 good battles on URL, good camera footage, sound, quality, right level of promotion, it elevates your profile again.
100%.
So we've done that with a number of guys, whether we had you know, a fallout with them, or either, you know, they just weren't doing well and we sat down and we constructed a way to present them back to the people and show that they still got it. We've always come up with those types of methods. So I think we're doing a good job in that. But yeah, most things are mendable. Some people we're gonna mend with, some people we're not. And I'm cool with that at this point. You know what I mean? I think we have enough talent to work with. And you know, as long as like, I'm more so on respect. Like, I want people to acknowledge when they make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Or acknowledge when they attack us and we're not wrong. Because in the fans' eyes, we're wrong. But I understand that the talent is always going to have, you know, more love from the people, which is fine. I'm not here to be loved by the people. My job is to put the battles on, to get guys on the platforms, to do deals with bigger companies, to expand the battle culture.
Me and my guy Reed right here, Will Reed, we did the interview with Mike P, right, when he was retiring. And that was right after his trenches battle and everything like that. We're in the rain, he looks all sad, and you know, and then we bring in the whole like, yo, what's up? You never going back on URL? And this was the first time he said, I apologize, I was wrong.
I said a lot of things about them, and whether they're cool with it or not, I don't know. It's something I'll think about, but I'm not going to reach them for it yet.
Okay.
That would be huge, though.
Listen, man.
Yeah, I mean, for return to URL after 3 years for the retirement battle, it would be great. It would be great, obviously.
Let me ask you this.
The part of me feels like I said too much. You know what I mean? I feel bad if I were to battle on URL. You know what I'm saying? I've said so many things about them. I've been so critical, whether it was right or wrong. I had real issues that weren't, you know, Beasley wasn't picking up the calls, man. But I didn't detail it to him, so it's my fault. You know, I hit up Beasley because of the amount of problems I had with the other guy, and you know, I never really detailed it to him, so I kept it to myself.
Very reasonable like that. I know.
Beasley was my friend, man. Was my friend, and I feel bad. I feel bad because I did him dirty.
And I respect Mike.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And then we see them on the platform. We like, and now he back. 10 battle deals. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, I tricked Mike P. You know what I'm saying? When he was doing his last battle, because he had an outstanding balance with us.
Okay.
So like a man, he came back and made up his outstanding balance.
Oh, fire.
Then I put some stuff in the paperwork, signed him for 5 back. Now I'm good. I didn't. But like, you know, I respect Mike P greatly for that, because you know, a lot of times battle rap is all ego-based, right? So guys don't want to apologize because they don't want it used against them in the battle. Oh, you went back and you apologized. But as a man, he realized, you know, he felt that he was wrong and he apologized. So I respected that greatly. And, you know, we spoke in detail about things and, you know, the things that he felt, you know, that we could have done better in terms of communication and what I didn't like about the way that things happened, and we just came to an agreement. And now I feel like Mike P is back in a way that we haven't seen him in some time.
Man,
you know
and y'all putting him against the killers.
He's going against killers out the shape
straight up.
and holding his
I said,
own.
are y'all trying? Do y'all like him or do y'all not like him? That's what we trying to
Can't
figure
say
out.
like he's delivering some of the best content right now.
Facts,
He's
facts.
got clips out that are going viral out
Right.
of nowhere,
Right.
that are on the app,
Yes.
that are not on YouTube. They're going from him just posting on his social media.
Yep,
So
yep.
it just goes to show, like, there's so many ways that you can get attention, you can get visibility and go viral without using YouTube. Not saying anything bad about YouTube, because YouTube is what built us, if I'm being honest.
Right.
But that was what was working at that time period. Nothing lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? And I think
That's
like
real.
people have to understand the full scope of business. Like your favorite artist, he might go sign a record deal at Atlantic Records and do good for 2-3 albums, right? And then he might have a falling out. And then he goes to Def Jam and he gets another deal and he puts out 2 or 3 more albums. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's a change of platform. People get used to it. You move on to the next thing. 1 minute, URLs on YouTube are doing pay-per-view streams. You run into this deal that we think is really good, that we're going to be able to put more money into the artist's pockets. So we sit down with this company called Caffeine, that's a startup, and they're funded by all these major corporations, and we do this great deal with them, and we make battle rap free. Nobody has to watch it. People still complaining.
That's
Yo,
true.
man, I got to download this app. This is whack. It's like, there's always going to be somebody who's
Can't make
unhappy. But
everybody
for the most
happy,
part, it was a good time period. But we can't live in that time period. That's the past. We have to move forward. You know what I'm saying? We're working on other situations and other deals. Will they be as big or as good? Only time will tell. But we can't live in the past, and we have to accept things for what they were. Things were good at this time. Now we're going to move over to the next situation. And we're going to continue to build and move forward. So, you know what I mean? I think people have to get that understanding that nothing ever stays the same. Everything's a lick. You run into one situation, boom, you rock that situation for as long as you can rock it, get the most out of it for yourself or for your company and for the people that are associated with your company, and then you take it on and you go to the next step.
Now, Ill Will, I also, after his battle with Tay-Rock for the rematch, dope battle, I had a conversation with him. And even he, same thing, he admitted, you know, I was wrong in a certain instance. And it was like, all we really needed to do was talk, me and Beasley, you know what I'm saying?
What helped to actually bridge the gap to get y'all to speak? You and Bees.
Doc.
Oh shit. Okay.
Doc hit me up and was like, you know, like, what can we do to rectify the situation? At first, I ain't even, you know, I'm an asshole sometimes. Not an asshole, but I be having my guard up a lot. So I'm like, what this nigga calling me? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
why?
right. What's
You
the
know what I'm
angle?
saying? What they tell you, nigga? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Doc is a real cool dude, man, and he really somebody in the culture that want to see it advance. You know what I'm saying? And he really thought that it was a hindrance to the culture that we wasn't fucking with each other.
Right.
To him, you know what I'm saying? So he did what he did about it, and we got on the horn.
Damn.
What brought you guys to that conversation? I seen Doc say he kind of helped, you know, create that conversation between y'all two, but on your end, like, what kind of made it easy for you to bring him back to the fold?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he didn't go out and go against us.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to be wrong, but then to be like strong and wrong is crazy. Like, yeah, man, because they did me wrong. Like, it's like, what? Like, dog. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that. We didn't see eye to eye on things. You know what I mean? And we just stayed away from each other. Like, you go to your block, I'm gonna go to mine. You know what I mean? He continued to work and make appearances on other platforms. We continued to do other events and employ other talent. But ultimately, I think that there's a certain synergy between our brand and certain artists.
Right.
And they're gonna show up on a level that they never show up on.
It's so
you know
amazing.
what I'm saying? On our platform. And it's just the way that it is. So like you'll hear people say, you know, this artist is dope, but this artist on URL is a little bit different. You know what I mean? And I just think, you know, without any shade to any other platforms, 'cause again, I have to preface it that way because people would think I'm taking an attack.
Right.
There is something about seeing artists on URL in front of Smack. There's a certain level of nostalgia and energy that is created when you have that combination that can't be matched. So I think, you know, him returning, him knowing that, yo, I want to really make a good showing, and showing up against Tay-Rock the way that he did.
Man.
It was a phenomenal battle. Some are arguing that it may be, what's up? What's going on? How you feeling? I'm great. What's up? Pleasure. Peace. Love. Yeah, we great. I think there's a certain, there's a certain level of energy that's created that can't be replicated. And that battle is so dope. Like, if you haven't seen it, man, go get the app. That battle is fire.
Real talk,
You know what
battle
I'm saying?
of the year.
Like, one of the best battles of the year. People are saying so far we have like the best event of the year in terms of consistency.
They say y'all like 5 for 5 in events right now, like 5 events in a row of just pure like.
Right. Like a bat lap from outside 6, outside 5. Next is like, I think like
Value.
people have to understand, like, there's gonna be times with any event where it doesn't live up to the hype.
Right.
It's possible. It's happened to us. You know what I'm saying? It happens on other platforms. But I think right now, the level of consistency that we've been demonstrating over these last few years, if you go on the app and you watch these battles, you're gonna see that these are really good battles. You know what I mean? And we have names, we got up and coming guys, we got mid-level guys, we have a nice cross section of talent, and we're showing that it's not always about like the biggest names. You know what I'm saying? Even though everybody's on the app, from T-Top, Hustle, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's
The
on
fans
there.
are really putting their eye on this new talent that y'all
so
building.
it's dope. You know what I'm saying? Just to see that. So yeah, you know, just in terms of speaking about Ill Will, you know, we were able to get on the phone, we were able to mend things, and we had a real conversation with each other. And you know, I'm glad, you know, that we have the opportunity to work with him again.
And he said he's back. Back.
Let's do it.
You know
And I guarantee you, them Ill Will battles on URL are going to be insane.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? And we're going to continue to put on. So if you haven't seen the battle, go get it. It's on the app. Not only do you get to see that battle, you get to see all the battles from Volume, as well as like all the other dope joints from the Caffeine era, the Rooftop series, all of those battles that only viewed once on Caffeine. We own it. We own all that content, and it all lives on the URL TV app. So there's no way you'll be able to get through it in 1 month. But if you want to try, just sign up and see if you like it. See if you can rock out. You know, I know you, and then also, you know, I know you were saying $7.99. It's $7.99 if you were, you know, down with us. You know, if you've been supporting us for this time. But you know, it's been 7 years. You know what I mean? So we raised it $1. You know what I'm saying? We still try to keep it affordable, because we want people to come in and have a great experience. We want to continue to grow. We want to show people that we're dedicated to making the best battles possible, and we're delivering the best sound quality, the best visuals, and the best content. It's right there for you to see. So, you know, come rock with us. Come rock with the culture.
Now, are there active efforts to repair relationships? Are there active efforts to repair relationships with battle rappers like K-Shine, Hitman Holla, or Eazy The Block Captain, or is some of that damage beyond repair?
You know, man, I hate like being at odds with certain people. You know what I'm saying? If I'm being honest. You know,
Let's start with K-Shine first.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate. You know what I mean? But we're not seeing eye to eye. You know what I mean?
To this day, still.
No, we don't see eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? You know, he said some things. Y'all know what he said.
Yeah,
you know
he went crazy. He went crazy.
And I didn't say anything about it. I haven't said nothing bad about K-Shine. We've spoken a few times. You know what I'm saying? We've had some conversation, but it just never materialized into anything. You know? So, you know, only time will tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like some of the things that he said. I don't appreciate them. I don't think that they were necessary. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you know, he's a man. He can express himself however he chooses to. But you know what I mean? I don't agree with the things that he said, and I still stand on the business differences that we have with K-Shine. I think that, you know, there are some things that are old that need to be squared away. And for the sake of business, you know, I would work with him again if it's what the fans would want to see. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because he has been requested. But at the same time, I think now people kind of get the idea and they understand that there is an issue there. Yeah. And it needs to be rectified before we can move forward. So, you know.
So it's not damaged beyond repair.
It's not. I mean, I don't know if our friendship will be the same again. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But we're not always here to be friends, right? We're here to give the people what they want to see. So, you know, only time will tell. You know, I mean, I can't really determine that. I don't know how he feels. I don't know if he ever does want to battle here again. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's something that he wants to do.
Now, I have had, you know, interviews with Sean where he did, you know, because I've asked him those questions as well. And he, you know, he has voiced like, nah, he's never coming back and things like that.
And he said before that Beasley has called you and he didn't answer the phone, right?
Right.
He said that on your interview.
Yeah.
So,
is there any regrets from Sean with the whole URL situation?
Oh no, hell no, bro. I regret not leaving sooner.
Okay, so you're firm when you're okay.
I regret. Hell no.
Niggas start looking around like, why'd you tell me, man?
Like, yo, now on some G shit. If I had known this path was the path, been did. But but probably not if niggas was doing the right thing. You feel me?
Because you just mentioned about when you
I wouldn't even known this had I not had to question things. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like, that's pretty much where I'm at. So I don't regret pretty much nothing, no, bro. You know what I mean? I love how my career went. I love how it's going. As far as went with URL, I love how it went with URL, and I love where it's going, bro. You know, it's unfortunate we got to a misunderstanding. It was even less unfortunate is the way niggas went about it after so many years. You feel what I'm saying? And things we spoke about, and there's certain things I can't get past. You feel me?
Yeah. So you don't want to say that the chapter's closed, but it's looked like the book is closed on that?
Yeah, it's over with it. Yeah, I really don't even want to really speak too much on them. You know what I mean?
Got you.
I've put forth the effort to put aside how I personally feel for the sake of business and for the sake of what some fans may have wanted to see. So I feel like we've put forth a valiant effort to try to make some things happen. But you know what? Not everything is going to happen. But, you know, Ill Will is back. Mike P is back. So there are some, you know, we do, you know, we make compromises here and there with certain situations where we believe we're in the right and other people are in the wrong. But in this particular situation, that just hasn't materialized as of yet. So, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe never again. You know what I'm saying? And I'm fine with that. I feel like us working together both got value out of it. You know what I'm saying? Him in terms of financial compensation and fame. I think like we were able to elevate his career to a level that it never would have ever been at. So I think that's the value that he got from working with us, and he made a lot of money with us. You know what I'm saying? In terms of us, and the value that we've got, I think we got his best battles. You know what I'm saying? The best battles that he's ever done or participated in live on my platform. So I think that, you know, even if we don't work with each other again, we made history together, and we'll just leave it at that.
Hitman Holla, you know what I'm saying? You know, Smack said what he said. But I'd love to see you guys work with Hitman again because you guys have made such amazing history with that record.
I mean, well, Hitman is cool, you know what I'm saying? You know, Hitman is Hitman, you know what I mean? He's become his own businessman. it's just the business that this don't make sense to me.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know what I mean, a lot of these dudes try to like overtax me or overcharge me when it comes down to like what they do. And I'm never going for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? And this shit is public record. Like, you know what I'm saying? They said that, like, yo, they gotta pay me more. I'm not paying nobody more. You know what I'm saying? Respect, I'm not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it is what it is.
You know what I'm saying? And Hitman, you know, had his rebuttal back on his platform as well. And just feels like, you know, that's always been the issue. Like, you know, he feels like he's worth something and you guys have paid other people, but for some reason, y'all act like he's not worth it. Like he don't bring that value. You know what I'm saying? Like, and y'all got the bag, Bees. And we want to see him on URL. And Smack is not like it's not like they dislike each other. It's not even that. It's just business.
Listen, I run into Hitman all the time.
Okay.
Random places. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Turn around at the award show. One time, sitting at BET Awards, I sit down. Boom! I turn around. He's behind me. Shut fellas.
Where's my money, B? No.
Shut bees. You know what I'm saying? Hitman is a situation like, ain't no real beef for Hitman. You know what I'm saying? Hitman just says some wild stuff sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, like, I don't want to say like he's trolling. Like, I believe like some of the things he says that he believes, but like I speak to him sometimes. Like people don't notice. Like behind the scenes, you speak. Like, you know, we're not calling each other every day, but you know sometimes if we just for different things might just jump on the phone with each other.
And it's respect. I don't have a real issue.
Yeah, there's always respect.
Right.
Like, it's never an issue. Like me and Hitman don't got beef. We're not gonna fight each other. Like, this is never gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna have differences in opinion. We're gonna have differences in business. You know, again, I think I got Hitman's best battles ever. On my platform.
Hey, he got. So like, Hitman got some.
And he's done good battles on other platforms. He's done good battles on other platforms. But like the ones that make him Hitman Holla, they live on my platform.
Gotcha.
So I'm thankful for that, right? You know, if there's a way that we could work again together, I think it would be dope. I think the fans would be excited. It's not out of the realm of possibility. We don't have no real major beef. Sometimes he'll jump in his blogs and he'll say some stuff, or he'll get mad, and you know he might think that there's something that happened and he may not check with us, so he'll just make an assumption and he'll speak it on a platform, and the fans will get mad at us. But we don't really have no issue with Hitman. Like, it's not like a beef thing. It's like, some of it is business. Like, he wants to command a certain amount of money, and maybe there were situations where he went to smaller platforms and he worked out situations where he was able to make a lot of money, right? And maybe those particular platforms, that was good business for them. That was sound business for them to pay him that amount of money, or to cut him in on a stream, you know what I'm saying, that was very lucrative for him. And I applaud him for that. And I'm glad that we were able to provide a platform that allows him to go out and do those types of things, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that I can do those, that we can do that type of business with him at the rate that he wants to charge us. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think sometimes people assume that we have this hidden war chest of money, and we don't. You know what I'm saying? We're playing the game like other people are playing the game. We just play the game a little bit differently in terms of like structure and saving and, you know, staying in things for the long run.
Right.
You know? So in terms of Hitman, I mean, I'm open to working with him, and you know, I don't think that he has an issue working with us. It just has to make good business sense. And it's not just Hitman. It's like there's other artists that you'll see on our platform for certain battles, but then other battles you won't.
Right.
And what people have to understand, this is not just him, there's a battle rapper's price, and then there's their price when they come to URL. And oftentimes those prices differ.
That's what Smack said, yeah.
I'm very aware of what people take on other platforms. Like, I'm very informed. I know a lot of shit. This is my business. This is our business. I'm very informed. So like, it's almost like you going into a store and you want to buy a camera, right? And there's some other guys that do a hip hop blog, and they're in the store too. They're in B&H Photo with you, and you see the camera, and the camera costs $2,000. But then when you step up, they be like, "Oh, knowledge, hip hop is real, $3,500."
Right.
And you be like, yo, I just watched you sell this camera for $2,000.
Right.
Why do I have to pay $3,500? Because that's the price that we want to charge you. And then if you say, well, I'm sorry, I can't pay that price, I'm gonna leave, and then that camera store owner goes online and makes a blog and go, and I'm not saying that this is what Hitman does, or anything. Just saying people have done this before. Yo, man, knowledge and them don't do good business, man, because, you know what I mean, this is what I wanted, and you know what I mean, they wasn't willing to pay, and now, you know what I'm saying, you know, and then the fans get mad because they want to see it, but it's just like, I'm not preventing that artist from going and battling other places. They have the right to do it, and they do it.
Hitman, though, right? He's one of the guys that, you know, I've heard, you know, he brings that ROI, though. He brings that, he's worth, you know what I'm saying? He's worth, I guess, whatever he's asking and things like that. Is it that, you know, and are you guys able to come up with, you know, a point, you know, a point where you guys can actually meet in the middle?
This is the problem. When you, like, again, like I said, pay-per-view is a dead revenue stream. It's dead.
Okay.
Right? You see leagues dying every month. People's doing battle events 4 and 5 times a year. They're not here no more. Once a year, twice a year, if anything at all. Some have retired.
Right.
So that is the main revenue stream that battle rap is using. Right? You can't get it from YouTube views because the ad revenue is so low because of the language. So the things that he's speaking of, they don't exist anymore. So either people are doing it through sponsors, people who come in and want to add money to the purse that you have, but the real judgment of ROI has been diminished because you have these parasites who come and steal content. You got guys online right now, if I put out a trailer, they'll grab the trailer and the images from the trailer, and they'll say, don't buy it from URL. You can buy it from us for $5. Get it in my Facebook group. They'll take your event, they'll take the next event, and another event from 3 different leagues and combine them all together and be like, get all 3 for $12. Join my group. So stuff like that, people think it's funny and it kills the culture. It's so destructive. You know what I'm saying? And you even have what's crazy is you see certain people employing these bozos, like giving them actual opportunity within their organizations, and they're some of the biggest bootleggers that live within our culture. You see leagues actually, a particular league hiring these types of low-level individuals.
Damn.
These subhuman, crumb-snatching, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Crumb bums.
These are bums. You know what I'm saying? It's like a bum's mentality. It's like you stealing, you scratching for pennies, and you're cutting the financial gain of the culture at its knees. And then what happens is it has an overall effect. So yeah, you might pay that $12 for 3 events, but now your favorite battler doesn't want to get on stage or take some time. Or then what ends up happening is he charges us one amount because we're going after that particular match. Right? We can't come to an agreement, so we don't call each other back. Then that artist might get desperate and then lower their price tremendously, and then they're battling in Nebraska, and you're like, why did URL not do the battle? He tried to do the battle, but he ended up doing it for 3 times less than what he, you know, was being offered because he was resentful, because he thought we had the money to pay him the price that he wanted, or he just may have gotten desperate and somebody called him at the right time. So there's a bunch of different variables that go into us being able to get certain matchups.
So basically, we don't know if we're going to get Hitman or URL.
I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He might be feeling nostalgic one day, wake up on the side of the bed.
Give y'all a good price?
I just did a deal. My salon. I know, congratulations to him. I know he opened up like a health and wellness thing or whatever.
He got the spa, salute to
so
him.
Hitman got bread, man. You know, I might be lucrative for him. So come on back to your home, man.
So give me a deal?
You know what I'm saying? Come on back.
Yeah, we want to see him and Lux. You know, I mean, I've been pushing for him and Lux. You know what I'm saying? Lux, you know, said that, you know, he tucking his tail, and Lux talk spicy when it comes to Hitman. So I want to see that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to see it on y'all platform. So,
I would love to see it too, man. If it can happen and it makes sense and it doesn't bankrupt the company, then we can do it.
Eazy The Block Captain, you know what I'm saying? Of course, the last convo I had with Smack definitely, you know, gave his you know, heartfelt. Like, yo, he doesn't feel like that
I
guy
share
has
in his
integrity.
sentiment.
Even with everything he said, shit, you know, he's still a hired gun. So if you guys ever wanted to book him, he'd be with it or whatever. It's all about the money, this, that, and the third. If you know,
But it's not all about money with me.
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying? That's where shit different. You see what I'm saying? Like that's where, you know what I mean, you know, we differ at. That's where we bump heads at, because it ain't all about money. It's all about principles, it's all about respect, it's all about loyalty and shit like that. Certain shit money can't buy.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So like, that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with that type of individual. He's telling you what it is. Cause the nigga that's all about money is gonna motherfucker, you can't trust it like that. He'll fucking shoot you in your back as soon as for $1.
Right.
You understand? And that's basically what like kind of happened. If from my perspective,
Right.
you understand what I'm saying? So like, I'm not on that time. I keep them far away from me.
Could y'all have a conversation to push shit?
I mean, I'm a man. I can have a conversation, but like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's just like, I mean, I already know what type of you are.
Right. Too much been said, too much been done.
It's not about what's been said. Fuck what's been said. I never really even address. I don't even talk about the only when people like you ask me questions about the way I'm gonna speak my mind.
Right.
I'm gonna let you know how I feel.
Right.
At the end of the day, no can't tell me not to answer a question. I'm gonna answer your question.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, you know what I mean, it's dead to me.
You know, and Eazy, the response, he basically was like, yo, I'm still willing to pull back out, even with after what Smack said. He didn't see me.
See, I think that, like, I feel like in his situation, like, this is the main thing to me, right? It's about it's a respect thing, right? And I feel like his exit was him painting a false narrative against the company, like saying like, yo, I didn't get treated correctly. You know what I mean? All I wanted was this.
All I wanted was my YouTube drop.
YouTube drop, but it didn't say, yo, I battled Goods. I battled K-Shine. I battled Averb. I battled Danny Myers. I battled all the T-Top. All these key people that allow you to elevate your brand and your company was provided through us, right? Even at a time where Eazy was already a known guy in the culture before coming to URL, and his career was kind of what it was going to be at that time. You know what I mean? So I feel that we were very instrumental in raising his profile, right? But still, this business, right? Because he did show up and do his job.
Facts.
Right? He was good in his battles, and you know, we gave him opportunity, and he showed up for every opportunity.
Take advantage of his shit, yep.
You know, that in itself, you know what I'm saying? The two go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? And we got some good battles out of it. But the main thing that I didn't like about the situation and the way that it transpired was that he made it appear as if he was mistreated, right? And instead of just saying, yo, listen, you know, somebody's presenting an opportunity to me that I think can help me and my family or elevate me to the next level. You know, URL didn't do anything wrong with me. I am under contract with them, but I broke the contract because I did, and I accept whatever comes with that.
Right.
Not to say that we wouldn't have been upset because we did have a contract in place and we were delivering on what we said we were going to deliver.
Right.
But it's like you're doing that to soften the blow of what you did instead of taking direct accountability for the move that you made.
Right.
And I just thought that was whack. I thought that was cowardly. I don't respect that. And it's almost like you're walking out the door and then you turn around and you just spit in your face like, fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, yo, listen, I violated, I made my move, I hope they forgive me, but I did what I felt was the best for me and I had to do what I needed to do for me. I can respect that to a certain level. It still breaks an agreement in a contract, but you're taking accountability for it. And I don't think he did that. He said one time he gave him a bad contract. And he said he just came out of jail and you have a lawyer and all these different excuses as to what he did. Instead of just saying, this is something that I wanted to do and I did that shit and I accept what comes with it.
Right.
If he would have done that, it would have been a little bit easier to digest. But he didn't do that. So And then he just made it seem, then he was saying, oh man, they may have helped like 15, 20%. And then he, was doing all the blogs, laughing and, just attacking us for so long.
Yeah.
We got a lot of backlash from fans and people say, oh, you had him in a slave deal. People say these things, but I've never seen somebody say, yo, I'm in this terrible URL contract and I can't get out of it. They won't let me go. Please help me. I'm stuck on URL. You've never seen that.
Right.
Never seen nobody say they didn't get their money. Whatever they signed for, they got paid.
Right.
So I feel like we honor people the best way that we know how. There's a lot of talent that we have to work with. There's a lot of promises that are made, and there's a lot of things that we have to do. And sometimes, we fall short, but I don't think we fell short in his situation in terms of the talent that he was put in front of, and that he had the opportunity to show his skill set in front of. So, with that, I kind of, I kind of agree with Smack in that instance, and I'll leave it there. I'm not here to like bash him or attack him or nothing like that. But
is it
I just don't
damage?
feel like that was honorable.
Is it damage beyond repair?
I don't know, man. I mean, that's a decision that I have to make with my partners. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's not just me. You know what I mean? A lot of times I'm in front of the camera explaining these things, but there is like a chain of command, and that we sit at the round table and we talk.
Right.
It's not something that we're interested in, and I can't even say that it's something that he's necessarily interested in. You know what I'm saying? And he has been showing up and battling on other platforms.
But he's
still out there.
he's saying
working.
he's still down to battle and still would like to
But
battle.
he's working against big names on other platforms.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So
He's had
we're
some-
not impeding in his progress. He's out there.
It's different on URL though.
It
Very
is.
different.
It
Like
is.
you said, artists when they get on URL, it's that extra.
Right. It
You know
is.
what I mean?
It is. You know what I mean? But at the
Maybe
same time,
maybe you can't get that
right.
anywhere else.
Yeah, it's tough, but I think like, I think it would have to be something that he would have, like the things that we just discussed regarding that situation, would be something that he would have to admit to, because again, I don't want to set this thing where people just feel like they could just go out, shit on our name, and then not really apologize. Like at least Ill Will and Mike P, they admitted where they were wrong at as men. And
Right.
that's a respectable thing. We spoke as men and they admitted publicly how they felt. So like the culture gets a chance to see like it's not always URL.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we all discuss things as men and we move forward. So much respect and love to those brothers. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that's something that would be a start towards mending anything. Just say, man, you know what? I was wild. I disrespected them dudes. They did nothing but help me. They put me on at a time when nobody was interested in me. They gave me an opportunity, and I didn't return the favor. Like I didn't stand strong or live to my agreement. That would be a start.
That would be a start.
Not to even say that and then maybe there could be some.
It could open the floodgate. Okay, I respect
civil
it.
with each other.
It's like rebuilding the bridge a little bit.
Right.
Okay. Next topic. Battlers moving to other leagues, right? So over the years, many battlers who were originally on URL, who are URL staples, have appeared on other platforms like, RBE, stuff like that. Why hasn't URL attempted to bring back names like Rosenberg Raw, or guys like Big K, or guys who featured like a Show Off, who's had, he probably wasn't successful in his PG, but he's made a name for himself. Why don't you guys decide to bring them into the fold and help create new matchups, or you know what I'm saying, things like that?
I mean, anything is possible.
Okay.
There was some issues, back in the days, and me and Froze, we spoke about it. We just never got a chance to really, reapproach things again. You know what I'm saying? You had him. I don't really see Show Off often, what I'm saying, in person or run across him, or we don't speak. We never had like that kind of relationship. We don't have a bad relationship.
Got you.
I don't have anything against him. He didn't really ever attack the company or go against us in a major way. So like, there's always, an opportunity or, for us to speak and maybe come to some form of an agreement. So I don't have an issue with him. And who was the other person?
Big
that
K.
you mentioned? Big K. Big K told a story about like saying like he was in Times Square and Chico came with some printed out contract and told him to sign it. He didn't sign it. Then Chico ran off in the middle of times. He said this on the Uppercut podcast. And that was like last year. That was just prior to him. That was just prior to him battling New Jersey Twerk.
Okay.
I mean, I asked Chico. He said that never happened. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to clarify that. But I mean, if that, you know, that's his reality. If that's what he says. I mean, I don't necessarily have anything against Big K. You know what I'm saying? It's not that deep with me. You know, so maybe there is an opportunity at some point. You know, as I said, time heals wounds. You know, we all go through these crazy transitions in relationships and friendships over time. So, you know, maybe, you know what I mean? I don't know. He's never really expressed interest of returning. So it's hard for me to just make an assumption that he wants to be back on URL. But I mean, you know, like I said, man, it's, you know, sometimes, you know, when somebody does something at the time, you know, you like, yo, never fucking with that guy again. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you never know, man. Over time, who knows?
Is URL open to becoming a home again for battlers who left, or is it too much business history in some cases?
I mean, I think right now things are different. Like in terms of like, there are homes, there's people that you associate with. You know what I mean? And if we're being honest, the majority of the battle rap culture comes from URL in terms of like when they actually emerged on the scene to become who they are. You know, of course, they started on smaller platforms, you know what I mean? And then we were able to go and find them and market them in a certain way and promote them in a certain way to be able to elevate them to become who they are currently, you know? But I think like, one thing that's crazy is like with fans, right? Like when we had like exclusivity agreements, right? We would get bashed so badly for that. They would be like, you guys are trying to monopolize. You guys want to take over. You want to not let stifling these guys' growth, right?
Right, I remember.
So then I said, okay. I said, you know what? Let's try something. Let's not do it for a while. Let's see what happens. And then we released it, right? And then now everybody's complaining, right? Because I think like we had a certain pace that we released battles and did events with, right? And I think like it really helped build a certain level of excitement, right? But now, you know what I'm saying? You know, some people are complaining about saying guys are battling too much and stuff like that. But they have to make up their mind as to what they want. If you want us to be URL and do things the way that we want to do them, then accept what we're doing because we have experience, we know what we're doing. So when we have these exclusivity agreements, they're for a reason, because they create a certain level of desire and excitement for certain matchups. You can't say that, and then when we don't do it, say, well, why are you not doing that anymore? Why is everybody battling? Because this is what you asked for. So you have to understand, if you ask for something, I'm gonna try it out and see how y'all like it.
Right.
So I let it go, and then this is where we are now.
The situation with Geechee Gotti. There have been reports about Geechee Gotti dealing with legal issues as one of the biggest stars of URL.
Free Geechee Gotti, man.
Does the league have any involvement in supporting him during these difficult times?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've been speaking with his inner circle, his family, and they've been giving us updates, and we've been trying to do things that we can on our side just to, you know, without giving away too much information, just whatever we can do, whatever they're requesting, we're working with them diligently to provide.
Free my God.
You know, I'm hoping that, you know, we can get past this thing with him, and I see a lot of people critiquing him and coming down on him.
The culture, not just him, the whole
guys
money,
the culture, and all these different things. Why didn't he do this? Nobody knows what anybody's experiencing, what anyone's facing, or why people do things.
Battle rap don't make enough money.
Yeah, they say that, but you know, I'm here to tell you, these guys have made a lot of money, especially Geechee Gotti. He's made a tremendous amount of money.
Three-time champ.
He's made a tremendous amount of money in battle rap with us. But you know, people make mistakes, man. I make mistakes, you make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes. So, you know, we have to stick
my man
by
Rue right here just came home 2 months ago.
Rue,
don't make mistakes, man. I'm back.
Mistakes. You know, I think we got to stick by our brothers in these times of need and get them back on the right track. You know what I mean? So, you know, when he gets out, you know what I'm saying, we'll have our personal conversation. What the fuck were you thinking?
Got you.
But right now, it's about coming together and banding together. I know a few people are coming together with a couple of promotional efforts to raise funding for him because he has a serious issue on his hands.
It's very serious, yeah.
You know, I don't want to. You see what the bail is. You see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And you see what the type of legal situation that he's in. So if there is, just donate and try to help him. You know what I'm saying? We'll fix it later. Let's get him out. Let's help him. You know what I mean? And that's why I stand with that. I'm supportive of him. We care about him. We love Geechee. We love his contribution. We love him as a person. He's a great guy. And he made a mistake, man. But we got to stand by him. We can't just turn our back on somebody when they make a mistake. You know what I mean? Give him an opportunity to wrong his right. You know what I'm saying? Wait, to right his wrong, rather. And let's just, let's do whatever we can. Let's donate. Let's do whatever, let's do whatever possible to help bring him home.
No, that's real. The future of Sue Surf and URL's loyalty. When Sue Surf eventually returns to battle rap, what kind of role do you envision for him within URL, considering his loyalty and impact to the platform?
Oh man, I mean, Sue Surf is Sue Surf, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a special personality. He's somebody that can't be replicated, and he's somebody who really controls the pace of what happens out here. Like the things that he says and his perspective on things, his insight on things is key. And
his following.
And I think that when he comes back, it will definitely be the impact will be felt. I think he also has a very, very big opportunity at being a mainstream artist as well. Makes great music.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So it's no real, it's no telling what his next move is going to be. We're standing by him, whether he's battling, whether he's making music, whether he's just coming back to chill and be around the culture and give his perspective. Whatever his decision is what it's going to be. A lot of people think, yeah, he's in jail. He has rounds for everybody. He's in prison, man.
Right.
He's not thinking about no bars. He's thinking about his daughter and his life and his family and getting acclimated back into society when he returns.
That's right.
So he has some real things to ponder over. So I speak to him pretty often and we communicate. Okay. So he's expressed some things that he wants to do within battle rap as well as outside of battle rap. So we're here to support him in whatever way he needs support.
What kind of spirit is he in?
He's in a great spirit, man. He was gonna get out.
Yeah, I know. I saw that February 16th.
February, right? But then he had an old situation in Detroit.
Yeah, I saw that. The
ironically, I was there for that too.
Oh wow!
When he got arrested.
You were there?
Yeah, we were there. We were present. Yeah. So the roots run deep, man. You know what I'm saying? But he was in good spirits. He's like, yeah, Bees, I'm out here in Detroit with my feet up. I'm chilling. Blah, 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 blah. He's on the phone. He's talking to some guy in the background because he just got there. He's like, yeah, so I'm gonna need you to go ahead and do this for me and blah, 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 and I'm gonna get you right. You know what I'm saying? A couple of days. Them dudes in the background agreeing with him. I'm like, hey, you just got to this place. How are you in here running around?
Salute to my guy, sir.
You sound very comfortable.
That's
you know
dope.
What I'm saying?
That's
out
dope.
of town in a whole nother state.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He knows how to move in there. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to him. Man. We had some really deep conversation about a lot of what his vision is going to be for himself and his career. You know what I mean? But I'll let him tell you those things. It's not for me to speak on. And I'm pretty sure that he'll want to share those things when it's the right time for him.
No, dope, man. That's good news, man, because the culture is missing that surf energy.
Yes.
So we can't wait till he comes back, man. The A-Verb fallout. Your relationship with A-Verb seemed to change after the situation involving Swamp. Do you think reconciliation is possible between Verb and URL?
I don't know.
Because he went on a campaign.
Yeah, he definitely went on a campaign. A massive campaign.
Oh man.
But I try not to deal with the grift, and I try to look forward. And I just feel that I don't know. I mean, he doesn't express interest in returning here. We're not expressing interest in necessarily booking him, and I think he's created his own world where he's thriving in, and we're continuing to thrive on our own. So I'll just leave it there. I I'm indifferent to his existence.
Okay. You don't. Is he one of the guys that cross the line beyond measure, or?
I think he's crossed the line tremendously. He's
Okay.
said a lot of things, but you know, it's in typical Averb fashion. He'll hit us in the feelings. I don't give a fuck. I say what I want to say. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? He has the right to his opinion and the freedom to express it. And whatever he says about me is really none of my business.
Okay.
So, I'll just leave it at that.
He's in the midst of like a major ghostwriting thing, but it brings this subject, right?
Right.
Ghostwriting and battle rap. Battle rap has had ghostwriting accusations before, but lately it seems people are being judged more harshly. As league owner, what's your stance on ghostwriting and battle rap?
Oh man, I hate it. You know, I think battle rap is one of the purest forms of lyricism. I think we have the best writers in the world. I hate to hear these types of accusations. It's something that needs to be eradicated. And you know, I hope, you know, I think that everybody has a certain level of skill. I don't think that everybody's always utilized ghostwriters, but I think sometimes when competition gets tough, people become fearful or doubt their own abilities, so they enact the help of a ghostwriter, which I think that ain't it.
Cheating the game?
Yeah, I don't like it. You know what I mean? So I hope it's something that ends. I hope it's something that stops. Anybody that is ghostwriting or is accusations of ghostwriting, hopefully that activity ceases and we can move on to the next thing.
Okay.
It's trash.
Developing new talent. URL has historically been the best at creating stars through systems like the PG era, later the Crucible. Why does it seem harder today to build new battlers to reach star or superstar status?
Well, I just think there's more going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, the job is a little bit more difficult because there's more leagues emerging. You know what I'm saying? So many that you can't even pinpoint which league is doing what. And I just think just because of the economic changes, that talent accepts more battles in various places.
Right.
So there's no real, you know, outside of URL and maybe, you know, brands like King of the Dot, who, you know, Queen of the Ring, like stamped imprint leagues. There's nobody really that. It's just a lot. It's just everywhere.
Free for all.
So because of that, you know what I mean? It may make things a little bit more, you know, a little bit difficult. But then you have bigger names battling more frequently, so they're kind of taking away from the attention of the newer guys. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because if you already are a known brand as an MC, you're battling this week and next week and the week after and 2 weeks beyond that. People are kind of following your trail, so it's just a little bit crowded at the time. But I think things are panning out, and I think that we're always going to do a job of developing new guys. You know, we have some guys that we're working with now that are making some. You know, we just saw a battle with Justice and drugs. That was
fire.
crazy. You know what I mean? So it shows that
Appa and
Appa.
recently,
yeah. So you know we're implementing
J2,
guys here. They were on volume.
Eunice,
right.
your top
So
superstar.
so we're definitely, you know, we're making stars. You know what I'm saying? So we're still the home of creating new talent, and I think we still hold that title, and I think we'll still continue to do it. You know, it may be a little bit more difficult, but you know, everything is a struggle, and you adapt to what the cards that are dealt, and you continue to move forward, and that's what we're doing. And I think we're doing a great job at it.
What's URL's long-term strategy for developing the next generation of stars?
Man, I think it's just continuing to give them opportunity, putting them in front of the right people, putting them on the platform. But you know, there's also them learning or remembering what made the other guys ahead of them stars. I think a lot of the newer guys are taking on the attitude of the veterans who may not necessarily have to go out and promote themselves as much because they're already established.
Okay.
So they think they're following that energy as opposed to jumping out there and really, you know, getting under people's skin and starting trouble. One of the guys from the new era that I think is doing a great job is Capo Bravado.
That's my dog.
Really, like,
He's amazing.
he knows how to like really
He's
get
dope.
people going. Like he
Dope. He's
knows
great.
how to really market himself and make himself
does.
stand out. And I think people should kind of take notes from what he's doing. I like what Eunice does also in terms
Facts.
of his promotion. So, you know, there are some people that understand it, but, you know, I think as time progresses, people will understand it, and they have to learn how to engage more. I think sometimes the newer guys, they cower to the veterans because the veterans will say, man, you ain't been on a Summer Madness, you ain't on Dome, nobody's booking you for nothing.
Right.
You at the bottom of the totem pole.
Right,
You
right.
at this, you at that.
Right.
And they only can combat with their accolades. They have to learn how to find other ways to attack the people who have larger profiles. And I think they'll do better in these arguments on Spaces and these other platforms. So, you know, people are learning. It's all a learning process, and it's only going to get better. And, you know, I still think we are developing talent, and we're still seeing a lot of new stars. And I think, you know, I don't feel like battle rap's in trouble at all.
Okay. The status of P in the Crucible. The Crucible was largely associated with P helping build new talent. Fans have been asking what happened with him. Is he still part of the URL future, or has that chapter officially closed?
Cool. Yeah, the Crucible. I know you asked Smack about that question.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Crucible was dope. You know what I mean? It may have not been my favorite process of bringing in new talent, but I think it definitely had a tremendous impact. We got a lot of stars from Crucible, a lot of guys who are active today that are
100%.
on cards. So I do think that was an asset. In terms of P's involvement and what he did, I think he was a tremendous asset to URL. I think, you know, people may not like his style or his approach sometimes, but he's doing it in favor of the company. I think that he definitely found a lot of dope talent that we wouldn't have seen had he had not been involved in URL. And people have to understand too that P has a job that no one is gonna like, because people see P or people in his position as the entry port into the next level of success.
Right.
And if there's 20 guys and he only can pick 10, it doesn't mean that all 10 weren't good or all 20 weren't good, but maybe those 10 had some qualities that he thought were better than the other people.
Or
right?
6 out of 50.
Right. So it's a very, very tough job and a difficult one. You know, and I know that firsthand because when, you know, people might look at me as like, yo, Bees, I've been rapping for this amount of time. I'm not gonna go to P. I'm gonna circumvent his thing and go straight to Beasley.
That's even a battle rap
Beasley
bar. Like, you talk to P, I talk to Beasley.
Right. People should, right? But people have to understand, like, his job was extremely difficult, and there's always gonna be somebody with their side of the story. Right? And you're never gonna always hear his. You know, so he wasn't a guy to run and complain and be like, oh my God, this happened. But you gotta understand, that is a rough position. Everybody says they can do it. But people are hitting your phone at night, sending you DMs and text messages. Fuck you. And you ain't shit. And you don't know battle rap. And, you know, people are attacking you online and making blogs about you and downing you. You know, and then he's not. And a lot of times, you know, he would want to respond to certain things, and I'll be like, nah, it's not worth it. Don't respond to the guy. So, you know what I mean? He was just kind of following protocol and not addressing certain things.
Respect.
So, you know, in all fairness, he did a great job while he was here, and he never got fired. Like, people think like, you know,
that's
he
the narrative
walked in
right
and
now.
he's like,
you know?
yo, P is fired.
Yeah, I got him
It's
out of
just
there.
kind of like, it's weird. Like, we just kind of got out of communication with each other. I think he was frustrated with a few things, you know, maybe, you know, from us, and we made, you know, there was some minor issues, but it was never like, P's fired, that's it, cut him off. It's no good. He's dope. You know what I'm saying? He's dope, and I would definitely work with him again if he would want to work with us. We've talked about it. You know what I'm saying? But he hasn't really like fully expressed interest in full on returning. And it's, you know, they haven't spoken in some time about it, but I mean, for the most part, there's not bad blood. Like, if he sees things that he don't like, he hits me on the phone and lets me know, like, yo, Bees, dead this shit. This is gonna become a problem.
Gotcha.
So I appreciate his insight and what his contribution was. And he worked with us for a really long time, and he's responsible for bringing in a lot of talent and coming up with a lot of concepts. So I gotta give him his props. And you know what I'm saying? P was dope for us. He was a tremendous asset for URL.
Just for clarity though, with this question, Is the chapter? I mean, is he part of URL's future, or is the chapter officially closed?
It's not officially closed, but I wouldn't say that he's necessarily a part of the future. That would be a deeper conversation. We would have to have amongst each other to see like how it could be beneficial to both of us, because there's some things that he didn't like. You know what I'm saying? Just working in that position, as I understand, and there's certain things, maybe that ways that he handles certain things that we didn't necessarily agree with. So it's just about us just, you know, coming together and talking to see like where he could be, you know, where we could implement his talent again, and if he would actually a responsibility that he wants. Because I'm telling you, that job,
it's
stressful.
I can imagine.
Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't get it, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know what I'm saying? And you know,
he gets blamed for everything. I understand.
He's like
the bad guy.
I'm the first bad guy. They blame me for everything.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like they everything they throw on me, I did that shit.
He did that shit.
Beasley's fault.
Then you open up late. It was Beasley.
Beasley's fault.
It was Beasley.
Okay. Now I appreciate that clarity. I have a few more. Talents from other leagues. Some incredible talents exist on smaller leagues, such as, you know, trenches. Is URL open to bringing in talent from like those spaces? For example, like a guy like King, you know, even if, you know, they have strong ties to other leagues. Are you guys open, or is it too much politics in between?
I mean, we do. You know what I mean? I think like what you're kind of referring to is like a time in the past, right?
Right.
Where like there was this, everybody's competing against each other. People are identifying themselves as opposition to our company.
Right.
So we had a lot of talent signed, right? And we would make the sacrifices. We would go out, find the talent, bring them in, sign them, elevate them, market them, put them in front of big name artists. We were doing these things. So when we're signing these agreements with people and elevating their careers, of course we want to harness the talent that we found.
Right.
So that was our business structure.
Right.
You understand? So we've always, you know, found talent from other platforms. You know, we've brought guys in from KLTD. You know what I'm saying? After, you know, we've become established over this time, people understand what our platform is and what it means to battle rap. It's the foundation of the culture. So people know what it is at this point. So we're not in those kind of, I would say, necessarily those type of wars anymore. You know what I'm saying? There were times where it was like these competitive wars between different platforms, and people would make accusations against us, or people would do certain stuff to us, and then when we would retaliate back, of course our voice is louder, so it would seem like we were being the bully, but people would never understand what transpired prior, because we never went out and said anything. We just like, okay, well, so-and-so did this, well, now we're gonna do that back to you. Right. You know? So that's what it is. But, you know, to answer your question, we're not opposed to bringing in guys as long as they go through our process and they respect what our process is and they understand where they stand on our platform. We don't have a problem with bringing in newer talent from other platforms.
Okay, that's fire. Looking forward to it, because there's a lot of dope talent out there that people want to see clash and combine with some of the guys you're building as well. URL's position as the #1 league. URL has been considered the #1 league in battle rap forever, right? But now there are more competitive platforms emerging. How do you respond to people saying, basically saying now it's on a more more playing level field?
I mean, I could understand, you know, people saying that, because there's some notable URL battlers battling in other places. If you're asking me, you know, are we #1 or whatever, I think that question is kind of reductive, because there's so many variables that go into being #1. Like, what do you think the criteria is for being #1?
The best battles, the most impact.
So stop right there. You said the best battles, right? Again, I'm saying this with respect, right? Lately, we've been having the best battles, right? I think you're seeing a lot of big battles that people think are supposed to be on our platform. Again, I say this humbly and respectfully. They're not living up to what people would expect them to be. Right? They're not the same. You know, 1 or 2 might happen, but for the most part, they're not living up to the same, right? So then what else? What is the other criteria that you have for somebody being number one?
The biggest battles.
Okay, that's one. All right. So there's been some big battles that probably we should have had, or people thought that we didn't have that we didn't have. So that's one area. But I think we've also done big battles like Lux and Diddy. We've done Lux and Twerk. You know what I mean? So we still do big battles. And if you really think about it, how often do these big battles actually happen? We're still completing or getting one or two of those big battles in once a year.
Facts.
But I think just the expectation of the company and the history of the company, you know what I'm saying? But again, there's business, and business affects art. You understand? So sometimes if you know, guys want funding that they got years ago, and that revenue stream is not available, it affects the business that we can do. You understand? That makes sense, because we're not a platform that comes once or twice a year. We do shoot battles every single month,
Facts.
all the time. So we're shooting for consistency and more of a long-term type of consistency and energy. So you know, so what's the other criteria?
Building the best talent.
That's what we do. Number one at it. Nobody else has done it. No one else builds any talent, if we're being totally honest. Like nobody's taking chances on these newer guys, building them up, putting them against bigger stars, presenting them as a class. We've consistently done that for years. We're the ones who go over the hill first and take all the arrows. When the new guys come, they say that they suck. Nobody wants to see them, right? We sign them into these exclusivity agreements. We build them up. And then a year later, they say, hey, why doesn't this guy go over to this league? Oh, he's on the slave deal. He's under this contract, right? And it's the very guys that you said that suck, that you didn't want to see, that now you're mad at us for, because they can't go to other places, because we're taking that investment. You understand? So people have to understand that we're making that initial investment into these artists and blowing them up and getting them to the place where people actually want to see them on our platform or go against other guys on other platforms. So we're going line by line. We're creating the talent. Big battles, we're still delivering. What else?
Best battles.
The best battles, the best content. What else?
Most consistent events.
Every month.
Right.
Outside 6, Outside 5, the Volume series.
Right.
If you go back, there's a myriad of other events that we've done consistently that people may or may not seen that live on the app. So we're consistently delivering that. What else? I would also say, just in terms of business structure. You know what I'm saying?
Venue?
Clearly. You know what I'm saying? The best venues, the biggest venues, Live Nation venues. You name it, we do it. You know what I mean? It's a tough question for you to ask me without me coming across like an asshole.
No, listen, man.
I believe in what I do.
Of course. Listen, you're supposed to talk your ish.
I believe in what we do, and this is hip hop. So if you don't believe you're number
Right,
one, you're not
right.
even practicing the morality and the laws of hip hop of not believing the shit is number one. But I'm actually speaking with specific facts and information
100%.
that back up what I'm saying from a business perspective, from who's put the most money in this culture, from who's provided the most opportunity outside of the culture on other platforms, from who actually has a real business, a studio, a place for artists to shoot, a place for guys to get opportunity to live on other platforms. There's so many things that, you know, and shooting consistent battles all the time. There's some other tremendous battles that we should have, that other people are doing great things, of course. But because other people are doing great things, it doesn't mean that other people can't flourish. Just because URL is doing well doesn't mean that other people aren't doing well also. Just because, you know what I mean, and vice versa. I just feel that in terms of consistency and time, like, yeah, you could come out and you could have an event and you could have all the names, right? But all those names emerge from our platform, right? That's number one. And then on top of that, like, are the battles actually being received from the public in the right way with the same level of excitement? You know, we have to ask those questions.
Yeah,
right?
fast.
And it's just like the consistency that we deliver over the years. Like, if you want to do that, do it for a decade. Do the biggest events all year long for a decade. Then we could speak in terms of actual competition or who's number one or who's the most competitive. Right? Provide the most opportunity.
Beasley said, do it for 10 years and then talk to me.
Implement your brand into award shows like the BET Hip Hop Awards.
Right.
Do these types of, go on
that's
Hustle
real.
and Flow on Netflix. Go find these, big companies and give guys big purses and big money and give them jobs, streaming, and opportunity. Like, I'm just saying, if you're trying to find a brand that is parallel to the Ultimate Rap League, it's just not gonna happen. I'm just being honest.
No, that's
speaking
respect.
my truth. This is no disrespect. It doesn't mean that other people don't contribute to the culture and provide good content, because they do. And there are some great battles happening off of URL. And I respect that and I acknowledge it. But if you're asking me as a company, as a brand, and just when it's all said and done, the legacy that we've built and created, it's not even close.
I respect it.
Can't compare. So yeah, I still feel and believe that we are number one, just because of the different things that we do, the opportunity that we have. If you're coming into battle rap and you're trying to find a way to do something, you have to go to our statistics in order to do that. You know what I mean? So that in itself, you can't go to these, because somebody hires a bunch of guys, essentially they're a party promoter, and puts them on a stage and tries to run a stream against that content, and then you don't see the brand ever again. Is it number one, or they just have number one for that month with the particular battles? Do they just have what would be perceived as a better card? And then after that card actually transpires, were the battles from that card good? Did they live up to the hype? These are all questions that you have to ask yourself in determining who would be considered to be number one.
Last segment is legacy and future. 3 questions, right? The first one, looking back over 2 decades of helping build modern battle rap, what do you think has been URL's biggest impact on the culture?
Our biggest impact would be, allergies are killing me. My biggest impact would be the consistency. Just, even when times are tough, always finding a way to put on for the culture. I think that's like one of our biggest assets. Whatever's happening, whether it's financial, we never quit. A lot of companies come and they leave. They can't hang on. They don't know how to survive. They don't find a way to continue to do this. We're doing this in the worst of times. We've done it. We've done it in the best of times. We've provided the best opportunity. I would say, like, in terms of like speaking from the company, you would see me the most, right? Smack will say things, you know what I mean? And Chico's invisible. He's a ninja. He's behind the scenes with the paperwork and talking to lawyers and negotiating. And, I kind of play a role in the creative part with Smack, as well as Smack's involved in the business also. And then Chico and I speak day to day. And then, there's other people that are involved. Shout out to JB and Nels and KD. But like, ultimately, when it comes to talking to the people from the company's perspective, is me. And I understand at times, because of the position that I'm in, I can be viewed as a polarizing figure, because I want exclusivity or I want things to be a certain way, but I do it for the betterment of the company. And I don't always have to come out and explain what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. So sometimes it can be a little bit confusing, because people are like, well, why are they doing this? Why are they not chasing after this mega match? Or why are they not doing things the way that they did last year? Because as I said, everything always changes. So you have to be able to adapt to whatever is going on presently and make the best out of that situation. And that's what we do. So, in terms of the future, we're going to continue to, to shoot battles, do events, look for opportunity, extend opportunity to people on other platforms, and do our best job to keep the culture as pure as possible.
What is the next evolution for URL over the next 5 years?
Just continuing to build the app and build our own community and our own platform. We want something that we can control, own, and operate. And that's what we have with the app in terms of an actual platform. We got URL Studios. We're building that out now. We've seen a lot of these battles that have been shot in there, and we've been getting a great deal of feedback about the quality and the production and the sound. And you know, that's something that we've always wanted, and it's something that came into fruition. It's something that it took a long time to get built, like, you know, building, and then they come in, oh, you have an upstairs, you got to get an elevator. Like, an elevator though. Like, you know, like we went through so much just getting that spot and building it up, and now we have something that we like. People like the vibe in there. People like the battles that are, you know, being shot and coming out of that facility, and we're just adding on to that, and we're just continuing to build. So, you know, we're building our platform. We got a home where we shoot a lot of our content. We definitely will do big events and go back out on the road and, you know, visit our Irving Plazas and the House of Blues and all the other
Houston and everything.
Yeah, all the other places.
Right.
You know, we'll do those things when it makes sense. But it's just about longevity and just continuously growing. You know what I mean? And we'll see what happens next. We'll see what the next level of growth is going to be.
Streaming maybe or something.
I don't have a problem with streaming live. I actually want things to be for free.
When I say streaming, or we could see a deal with Netflix or a deal with like a major brand or something like that.
I love that. It's just that the pay-per-view model is broken. It's over.
Right.
You know, you'll get something from it, and I'm not even saying that I would never do a pay-per-view again.
Right.
Maybe I feel like rolling the dice and seeing if people want to come in and purchase something so that we can get as much funding as possible for certain events.
Right.
But ultimately, that is a dying platform. The biggest proponents of that platform no longer utilize it.
No, respect.
If UFC and these guys got to go to big platforms like that in order to get it done on theirs, how could we possibly be able to match them? We're not in the same light. We talk from night to dark. Y'all owe me a check.
Last question, right? Last question, Bees. When it's all said and done, what do you want the legacy of URL and its founders to be in hip-hop history?
I think we've done that. I think when it's all said and done, you know, one of my goals, personal goals, was just to do something in hip-hop. I grew up in hip-hop. I'm from New York City. I've always done everything that I could possibly do. Knew how to break dance. I used to write graffiti. I used to try to get on man's turntables. And anything that had anything to do with hip-hop, I wanted to be involved in or be a part of it. So I think when it's all said and done, in this particular field, I dominated and I made an impact. So my daughter can say, hey, my dad did this for battle rap. When this part of it, he controlled this part of it for this amount of years or whatever. Like, when it goes down in the books, I think we've made that impact. So that's just, you know, what I want our legacy to be, is a platform that has put a lot of people on. I think we have. I think we've provided tremendous opportunity financially, profile-wise. I think we've done some things and changed a lot of people's lives. And them working with us has changed our lives and enabled us to make a living off of something that we love to do. So I think that's what you call success. Why should I hear? It's getting late.
Yeah.
I was trying to set me up.
Nah. Bees, again, thank you for your time. You've been gracious, man. Yeah. Thank you for, you know, being able to work with you these last 13 years. I just made 13 years of Hip Hop Is Real.
That's crazy.
So it's been an honor working with you.
I remember the first day I met you outside of Blackstone.
Yeah.
You walked up when you asked for an interview, and I stepped to the side and we started talking.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, we've had a great history. You know what I'm saying?
Wonderful.
Even me and Knowledge have been at odds.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Him and T, that fucking T, man. That T, him and his titling.
Yeah, and his thumbnails and the crazy. Yeah, you know.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's all about growth. And at the end of the day, everybody in the culture, we all family, man.
Real talk.
Sometimes we feud. Sometimes we don't see eye to eye. But it's never that serious, man.
Facts.
It's just about supporting each other and working with each other. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's going to appear that, you know, we hate each other, and sometimes we have real legitimate gripes.
100%.
But ultimately, it's about just mending those issues and just continuing to move forward.
Again, I appreciate you, Smag, Chico, the whole team. You guys have been great, man, and, you know, afforded me the opportunity to feed my family doing what I've done as well. So, you know, I tip my hat off to you guys, and I wish y'all nothing but continued success. And I'm looking forward to see you in Civil War, March 28th.
Yeah, that's not gonna be Civil War. I don't know.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying? We gonna rock. We gonna do something.
Okay.
Good. Look out for the for the battles. You know what I mean? Announcements dropping, and we're gonna get to it.
Hip hop is real. URL. Let's get it.